Cool. All right, guys. So check this out. We're going to do three email templates that you need to know. And so I think that you guys came in a little bit blindly into this class. I don't know if you know exactly what you got yourself into, and it should be fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of Chat GPT. We're going to learn a little bit about Gmail. We're going to incorporate some different systems and processes, and we're going to play a little bit. So let's first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that like we're set up and that we're able, first and foremost, to go through and add um, add a template, right? So the first thing we need to do, right, as we're going into this thing is we need to go into our emails and click on this little cog. You click on this cog wheel right here. You go to see all settings. Click on see all settings. And then from your see all settings, what you're going to want to do is you're going to go over to this advanced setting right here. Click on your advanced setting and your templates. You want to be able to turn templates on. Being able to turn templates on, this is what's going to give you the ability to actually fire off email templates. Like you can actually create a template, you can save it, and then you can actually just scroll down and fire off and send. And this is going to save you a lot of headache. So outside of even what we're talking about today, if there's another template that you're like, well, I'm constantly sending this email and it's getting a little whatever for me, feel free to create this and just be able to fire it off. You don't have to go hunt and peck or save it in a draft or anything like this. Like this is the way to do that. So here we go. These are the three email templates I think we should be looking at. First one's congrats on going under email or going under contract. There's number one. I think number two is thank you for showing up to the open house yesterday. Yep, let's do some lead generation and some follow up. And then a thank you for scheduling a showing. Like I think those are like the three emails that I think we should be looking at. So the first one, let's do this. Let's talk about congrats on going under contract, right? Like we're going through, and depending on who your buyer is, like they might have some questions. And we know in the very beginning of the process, we got a lot of different moving components that need to happen pretty quickly, right? Like when we're thinking about this, we know that we have earnest money that needs to be dropped off. We know that we need to get something scheduled, right? The inspection. And we kind of need to be moving a little bit quickly with this because depending on how you wrote your dates and deadlines, depending on how competitive the offer needed to be, like this could be something that needs to be happening in like the next 10 days. So as I'm thinking about this, I'm setting up just with ChatGPT. You guys can do this with a free account. I do pay for ChatGPT on my side of things, yet it does not necessarily need to be a paid account. What you're going to notice when you're playing with ChatGPT as well is it's going to start to learn from how you correct it. And so, like, you're going to see like there's going to be like a tonality, a tone and approach that you're actually going to start setting up inside of your chat GPT, and it's going to follow along with that settings that you're kind of programming it with. So with my message, I'm doing this. I'm going to say, firstly, I am a real estate agent. And once you've done this once or twice, a couple times, like it's going to know that you're an agent. Like I do this for numerous different reasons. So I like to let it know, like, at what perspective am I playing at? So we're gonna say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. And I want to say I have a client who just went under contract on 123 Main Street. Then we're going to go through and we're going to say, we have a few things that need to be done next 10 days. And right, so we're going to say, like, hey, we're going to go through here. And when we're going in, we're doing these different things. What we want to say is, the first one is we need earnest money. The title company. In this case, we're going to say the title company is Land Title Guarantee. So we're going to go through, we're going to say it's Land Title Guarantee Company, and they can drop it off at any of these locations. And so I've already done a little bit of legwork. I already have My link. I'm gonna paste my link in there. So there's land title, and I already went and looked at the location. Just keep in mind, like that's one of the things that they always ask, like which one do I have to drop it off at, right? Like I get that question a lot. I don't know about you guys, like they want to know like which one are we working on? You're like, well, this is the cool thing about this is you can actually drop it off to any of them. And so we're just going to set this thing up. We're going to say, hey, you can drop it off at any of these. Also, we have inspection coming up on the 15th of January. Here are three companies that I have worked with that you may want to check out, right? So we're going to go through and then we're going to go in and we're going to just take our three companies. And I would just put the companies that you have worked with, right? So, like, depending on who that is, go in here and put them in. So, Pillar to Post, right? I've worked with Pillar to Post, Axiom, we worked with Axiom, Housemasters. And here's the thing, guys, like if you haven't worked with any of these people, like we do know that these guys come in for team rallies, they do sponsorships, like have the conversation with them, see what they look like, and see if you're comfortable doing business with these people. And it does not matter if you want to put one in there, put one in. I like to give options. I like to go through. I think they all have different value adds, right? To where like maybe some of them are doing a book, maybe some of them are going to go through and they have the ability to every year they're sending you reminders about some different things. They're putting you front face. Like you get to pick and choose who these people are. So you're going in. So like this is the very first one. And we do know these are the things that we get our questions with like day one. Who and where do I drop my earnest money off to? And the inspection piece. So we're going in and we're saying the next thing as I'm going through is I'm thinking about this, like you guys are busy, right? Like we're pretty busy with how we're doing business. And if you guys have a lot going on, you actually might want to tell your client what days are best for your calendar if they want you there for the inspection. Keep in mind, you don't necessarily need to be there for the inspection. If the home inspector has access to Broker Bay and they go in and they set the appointment and the seller accepts the showing for the inspector, you guys don't necessarily need to be there. With that being said, you also probably want to let your client know what the best days are for you. So I'm going to say like, hey, in the next week, my best availability is on this Thursday and Friday. Let me know what day you get the appointment for the home inspector set. Cool. So I'm just firing it off right there. So we're going to go through and see, here it says, hey, we're polishing this thing up. And so we're going through and it's laying out how this email should look. It's going through and saying, hey, congratulations again for going under contract on 123 Main Street. It's talking about the earnest money. There's a location. And it's putting in the hyperlink, right? So it's cleaned it up for us. So now we have a hyperlink. It's saying home inspection. Home inspection is scheduled for the 15th, but over three reputable home inspector companies that I've worked with. And it's giving them the links to go join. It says, please review these options. Let me know what company you're going to go and use with and schedule. My best availability this week is Thursday and Friday. So feel free to book the appointment during those days if it works for you. And then we can go through, we can create it. So then what I could do is this. I could say, awesome. Turn this into a template for me to use in the future. Do not put the dates or the address or the title company in here. Instead, keep them as a placeholder for me to insert later. And here we go. Congratulations again on going under contract for this property. Earnest money. Here's the place. Here's the time. Still living the reputable people in, right? Because those people don't change. So we have there. Here's my best date. And so what I'm doing now is I'm copying this. Like, we're going to run with this. It's like, this works. We copy it. We go back in. We go to compose, where you're just going to paste it. And you can see that it just drops right on in there. And all the bold, we know that we might have to go back and change time, place. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go in. We're also going to put in the email, the title, right? So it says next steps. I did like that. We're going to place that in here. Then we click on these three dots. We click on these three dots. We go to templates. You can see that I do like templates, save template, scroll all the way down, save new template. It says this is what you want to save it as. You hit save. So now let's exit out. Now, if I were to go in and compose a new email, I can go back, click on these three dots, go to templates, and there's template number one. And now we can constantly reuse this. And so, guys, this is what I would say, like, create the first one maybe for the client and put some specifics in there. And then you're gonna get a feel for kind of what you're looking for. And you're gonna say, awesome, like, I know that I'm saying this over and over and over again. And then you create it. And so here's this one. The second one, right? Like, I know that you guys are going out, you guys are doing open houses, right? So what does it look like? And so I've kind of completed this one a little bit, is that we go through and we say like thank you for coming by the open house email, right? So if I'm going through, it says, hey, thanks for stopping by on date. I just wanted to check in and ask if there were any queries that I can answer, right? I'm trying to put questions. So any questions I can answer about this property. And it says, also, I considered a few more similar properties available in your area, and I've been happy to arrange a meeting to visit those properties if they interest you. And so what I would do with this specific one, it says, I'm going to put give me three spaces a little bit later when we go to create the template. But what I've already done is I've gone through and I found the properties that are on this for this particular one. And what I would do here is I would link it back to my KW site. So that way, if they're looking through it, then you'll have some visibility if they're touching anything, right? And then what we know is that we can actually set it up to where someone can look at, no properties before they have to register, 3 properties before they register, 10 properties. And then we can go through, right? So it's like, hey, I got these 3 properties. Let me know if any of these are interest to you. Give me a call. And then I said, give me a call to action to see if they would like to go and see any one of these homes, or if there's another one that's calling their name. So let's fire this off. Let's see what this thing looks like. So here we go. Like, it's going through and it is pulling these properties in here. So it says, hey, thanks for stopping by on this date. We don't know what the date is. I just wanted to give you a check-in and see if there are any questions that I can answer about the property address. I also wanted to share similar properties in the area that you might be interested in. And so all these are hyperlinks to where we can go through, and everyone, we should be going in when we're doing these open houses, we should be very, very purposeful. I also think that what we could do if you wanted to, and let's just say that you don't want to send out the property, I do think this is what I would do is this. When I think about real estate and I think about us as real estate agents, I think that one of the things that is exciting about what we do is that we have the access and the keys to people's houses. First and foremost, like, that's the most exciting thing that we have. Like, you guys have the ability to go online and say, I want to go look in this stranger's house, get the keys and go whenever you want, for the most part, like every one of you on this call. And we have to keep in mind that there is a whole channel called HGTV devoted to strangers looking at other strangers' houses. And that's very real. So now what you've done is you've opened up the house on a Sunday, on a Saturday, and someone's been able to come through. And then you said, hey, thank you for coming and checking out this house. Do you have any other questions? Also, based off of your interest in this home, I have 3 other houses that I have access to if you want to go take a personal tour. There's your call to action, right? You're going through and you're saying, this is the thing. If this house didn't meet your needs and you are still interested, I have some availability. These houses look like they may meet your criteria. Do you want to go look at more houses? This is what excites people, right? So where we can go through it says, let me know if any of these catch your eye. or if there's another property you come across that you would go like to see. And I can say, awesome. Please turn this into a template and do not list the 3 homes, but give me 3 spaces for later. That's what I think you could also do if you wanted to take this one step further. Put your Calendly link in, right? So where they can actually go through and you can actually set up a consult. What would it look like if you set up an appointment or a Calendly account, go through and set up a 15-minute phone call, a 15-minute Zoom? Or what would it look like if you had a time block section to where you are lead genning during the day and like nothing's going to get in that way? And what you do is you actually put in a time block for a coffee shop near your house, address and everything. Like, and you put it into your Calendly account and you say, or if it's easier and you want to set up a consultation to talk about next steps, click on my link and set up an appointment. And they can join in on a Zoom with you, a 15-minute phone call for coffee at the coffee shop of your choice because you just set it up because it's right by your house. So it makes sense. But here we go again. So here are the properties, right? Here's the list. So we already went through. I'm not going to just keep creating a bunch of different ones, but I do want to show you guys this. Like if we were to go through, I think what's important to note is that we just did something a little different. So you know what? I am going to do it. So check this out. So I'm going to go in and we can go through and we collect this whole thing right here, copy it, compose again, we paste it, we go back and we grab the subject, and then we paste the subject in, we go in, templates, save, scroll all the way down to the left, save as a template, yes. Then we can get out of there and let's go into a new one. So when you're doing this, this is where it gets interesting. So when you go to reuse this one specifically, because again, there's more moving pieces, this is what I would do, right? So like I'm clicking in and let's just pick one of these properties. Doesn't matter what this one is, it's the one we're using. So here we go. We have 6714. So what I would do is I would actually copy this. Now it's a template. Keep in mind, we've already created the work and now we're just going in and grabbing houses. This is part of our lead generation and lead follow-up on Monday is like we actually set time on Monday to do these follow-up emails. This is lead gen. So we're going in and then we are pasting. So you can see I just pasted the address. What I would do from there is I would actually go back up. You can see this is me. Like everything that they're looking at is me, my phone number, my email. They can message me. They can request a tour. They can do all this stuff from this. I'm going to copy this link. Then I'm going to go back into the link. I'm going to highlight over the property. I'm going to click on this insert link button. And I'm just going to paste it in there. Now we've created the hyperlink, right? So now all we really have to do is go through, change the date, the property that we showed on the weekend, put 3 new addresses in that make sense, and then hyperlink them back to our websites. This is lead generation. These are your touches for anyone that's like, well, hey, I just don't know what to send them. Here it is. Like this is a very simple touch. What we could also do go through here, guys, and this wasn't one that I planned out, but what would you do if you were to say like an email where you're asking just for feedback for the property, right? Where you actually go and carry a template. Hey, thank you for stopping by 123 Main Street over Saturday. The seller has requested that I reach out to you and get some feedback around the property for open houses specifically. Now, the third one that I have for you guys is more for someone that has set up a showing on your house, right? You're the listing agent. You're going to get some people that are going through and they're scheduling showings. Now, when we're going in here, this is where I think this comes into play. You guys are spending big money, right? We just had a photographer come in the other day. And with the photographer, one of the questions that got asked was, do we get a website? And if you get a website, they do have some cool things, right? Like you can actually go through and you can pay for a lot of different things with these companies, floor plans, 3D walkthroughs, all these different things that I would be willing to bet that an extra photos as well, right? We can only put so many photos on the MLS and you probably paid for like 50 and you didn't get to put them all in the MLS. So you actually have another site that the consumers have not seen. So I'm getting something set up on my home for a listing, and it says, "Hey, thank you for setting up a showing. Insert the address here." I wanted to make sure that I sent you more information about 9300 Wadsworth Boulevard. Here's the branded website or the unbranded website for the property. I'm sending them actually unbranded. I'm letting them know, hey, this is not branded to me. This is the house. You can send this to your clients. It's perfectly safe. I wanted to let you know, right? And so you can actually send it. I'm sending it to them. I'm also letting them know what the compensation is. I'm letting them know that the compensation is attached to an asking price offer. So they're not blindsided. If they're coming through and they're asking for $30,000 in concessions and plus X percentages in commission, and they drop the price. Like I literally had a phone call the other day for our property. I said, "Hey, Charles, I was wondering if your clients would accept $1 million on their property." I said, "Well, here's the thing. I don't know what other concessions that you're going to be looking for. I don't know the dates and deadlines that you're going to insert or any other provisions that you're going to put in the contract. Send us over a contract and I'll present it to the clients and we can actually have a conversation from there." Right. So we're actually just setting the stage. Then we're going through them, letting them know where the lockbox is. Again, this is coming from Broker Bay, but let's just send them it. And I'm doing this. Also, the seller's requesting feedback, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if it's okay with you, if I do not get feedback through Broker Bay by tomorrow, I'll give you a call to see what your clients thought. Really excited to hear about what they thought about the ADU. So this property has an ADU, and I'm actually just giving them something to talk about while they're there as well. I'm setting the stage like, hey, I expect you to make my job easier, and I want you to submit us feedback. I don't care what the feedback is, but I need you to submit feedback so I can give it to my client. If you're not going to offer on the home, that's okay, but this is not a place for you to go and tour for fun. This is a place where we're putting on the market to sell it, and my seller is demanding of me to let them know what's going on with their property, and so I need your help. So I'm just setting the stage like, hey, if you fail to give me Broker Bay information by tomorrow, I'm going to call you. So please just do your job. It's an automated email. I'm going through and firing this thing off. And so again, like my tour, right? Like this is the property, and so we're going through this, showing information for the property. Thanks for setting up a home tour on this property. Here's the property website, and again, like so, this is the property website. Like it goes in and it gives more information, and this is why I'm sending this off. Like there's photos. It's going in. There's 105 photos. There's a walkthrough video, there's a 3D tour, there's floor plans. Like there's more information, guys. I don't know how many times you guys get phone calls where someone's like, hey, do you know how big the bedroom is? Well, it's all there now. Now it's all in their hand. Or how many times have you guys been walking through a house and your client's been like, hey, can you tell me if there's this on the property? Well, now they have access to all that. Like it's all in this website. So then we're going through and it's saying, hey, we're offering X percentage buyer's commission. Lockbox is here. Then I'm going to go through, I'm going to turn this into my template, and I'm going to say remove property addresses, remove website URL. And then I'm going to also say, don't say where the lockbox is, and remove ADU so I can input other features later. Cool. So there it goes. It says, hey, thank you for showing the property address. Here's the unbranded site, and you just put it in there again. And so you put it in, you put your hyperlink in. You're going through, you put in your commission. And then it says, hey, if it's okay with you, I would like to hear your client's thoughts. And this is where I would say, very interested to hear what they think about this. It could be the landscaping. It could be the primary bathroom. It could be insert whatever here, but you're priming them for something that's potentially unique on the property. And hey, I need your help doing your job to help me do my job.